Well guys, I think we're back. We've gone slightly high-tech this week. I've got Laurie in my right ear, which is very scary because I'm even using his headphones, so I hope he hasn't got any nasty diseases. But we're here, we're with you. Laurie's on the other end of this. Hopefully the sound will be better from Laurie tonight because we've got a slightly different system. Let us know if you think it is better from him, though I never like him to be too loud. It does spoil, it takes away my glory, and at my age I need all the glory I can get. Thanks guys for all tuning in. Sven, I know you're not with us now, but he's already given us €100. So I'm going to start doing this live chat every single day of the year. Let's see how long it takes Sven to go bust. That would be quite exciting.
That's not very fair, is it?
I think it's very fair. I'll do anything for Wildlife Aid. You know I'm a total prostitute for Wildlife Aid. Anything that raises Wildlife Aid money, I'm there doing it within reason, guys. So don't give me too many suggestions because it might well happen.
So we're here. Accurate.
And we've got a hello from Florida already, from Jules. Jules, Florida.
Yeah, got a lot of people actually. From Florida, from Sweden, from the post-Soviet Poland.
Well, just why don't any of them invite me to go and do a talk? I want to go and talk in all these places. Send me the air tickets. Oh no, actually,
not at the moment.
I'm not going to fly anywhere at the moment, I must admit. So send me a private jet, and I'll be out there doing the talk for you guys. It's really great to have you. We've got lots going on. I mean, we're always busy here. It was actually a couple of weekends ago that we should have had our open day. That sadly didn't happen. So many people come from all over Europe to our open day. It's really great. But this year, obviously, it's not to be. So our biggest fundraiser of the year, sorry, I'm croaking here. The biggest fundraiser of the year has gone and past us. So we need to raise all the funds we can because that one day, keeps us running for about a month. So that's a month's running costs gone in one fundraiser that hasn't happened. So anybody fancy giving us lots of wonga? That would be great. We're gonna auction some of Laurie's photographs tonight, which could be quite exciting.
We are.
Laurie, who he does get, unless he gets over £1,000 for photograph, he does sulk. And I cannot work with a guy who sulks all week. So I'm sure he'll be putting some of those up later on. He's a brilliant wildlife photographer. He's not only done the photographs, but he's also done a calendar, which we'll be talking about later on. So all the pictures in the calendar, I think, are yours, Laurie, aren't they?
They're either mine or Abby's. So the photos from the calendar are all patients that have passed through the doors here over the past year. So everything has been through the system and out the other side.
Are you trying to say that Abby can take a photograph?
Abby can take a photograph.
Has she learnt that from Adam?
Yes. When I feel like it.
What did she say then? I missed that.
She said, yes I can, but only when I feel like it.
Okay, typical woman. I shouldn't say that. That'll get into me a lot of trouble. You watch the chat go up now. I bet
asked for this.
Abby learnt from Adam, I bet. Abby's here tonight. She wasn't going to be. She had something far more important to do than be with us tonight, but thank you, Abby, for staying, because we've had a few personal crises here which have now been got rid of so far. So Abby is here to support Laurie, and Laurie, to be honest guys, Laurie needs all the support he can get. Just remember, let's make that £2,000 a photograph, Laurie, for the auction. I think that'd be a good way to go. Good way to start. So what are we going to talk about? What else should we talk about? What's happened since last time?
There's been quite a lot that's happened over the past 2 weeks. We are right in the middle of our orphan season, so it's a very, very busy time for us, the vets, the rescuers, volunteers, everyone. A couple of patients of major note. So the first one was a blackbird that we actually got in whilst it was hatching from its egg. Now a few of you, if you follow us on any of the other social media platforms, sort of Facebook or Instagram, will have seen some of those pictures. But for those of you who haven't seen, I shall try and dig them out on there. Cool. So it arrived looking like this. Just hatched from its egg, still well and truly in an egg shape. And they are often very, very difficult to rear. They take a lot of work, a lot of effort. They need to be fed every 15 minutes, basically continuously. They need constant heat. And amazingly, it's done really, really well. And as I speak currently, it is currently in an incubator just up at the top of the centre with 2 others, and is doing really well and starting to look like a blackbird, which is absolutely remarkable on that one.
That's not bad. While we're talking, Laurie, can you just ask Abby to ring Alice, who's just rung me, and I put my phone down quickly.
Can you ring
I don't know whether it's important. Just see what's going on.
Might be important. Someone has been called from Alice.
We'll see what's going on. We know we have a situation running at the moment, guys, where we've got a swan and a cygnet with fishing line round their bodies. We think we haven't had the pictures yet. They are swimming free, so they're not in huge trouble. But we're just trying to locate where they are, because they were last seen swimming down the River Mole, and we are waiting to go out and deal with that should we have to. Otherwise, we'll be out there tomorrow morning. I will send Laurie out at 5 o'clock with his scuba man outfit, and he can swim the length of the River Mole to see if he can find the swan and the cygnet. So that'd be quite an exciting start to our day. Great rescue.
We haven't used scuba on a rescue yet. We need to do that. Well, there you are.
There's always a first time. If it was me in the River Mole, I would need a dry suit, which was heated. You know
Alice
me.
did not appreciate the female comment.
Alice is trying to kill you over your comment earlier. A justifiable murdering in this case.
I'm really glad that I didn't answer the phone then, because I've got a whole load of grief. So there we are. Money coming from guys. We've got 300 Danish kroners in. We've got £10 from Mike in the UK. Mike, thank you, and thank you whoever gave the Danish kroners. I can't see at the moment. It was Lean or Len
Nielsen. Yeah,
Len
another regular in this chat. So thank you very much.
Why do all these people follow us, Laurie? Is it because of my magnetic personality or your undying charm?
If only either of those was true.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had our $9.99 from Adam yet. That's beginning to concern me, that we're already about 6 minutes in and no $9.99 from Adam. That's very disconcerting.
So what else? So Laura, who is one of our volunteers, she's donated £3. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. So Laurie, we got as far as the blackbird. That's hatched. We did. What about ducklings? You're going to talk about ducklings next, weren't you?
Yeah. So our ducklings have actually been released. So for those of you who were following the progress of our ducklings, we've had them in from tiny little fluffy yellow things right the way through, and our first group of ducklings has finally gone back out to the wild. So those ones will hopefully be doing a lot better. They certainly enjoyed their new location, and the group that we've got in there now are the next ones, which should be heading back to the wild probably in the next couple of weeks or so. They're just slightly behind in terms of their developmental stage. But
and
they're not far away
behind that as well, haven't we? We've got ducklings, and then we get them right through the. In fact, I think last year, from memory, the last duckling we had in was either in late November or December. It's insane, guys. They're still having babies right through the year. So we get ducklings in from now all the way through. As of course with hedgehogs, we'll be getting those right through as well. So we'll see how that one goes. At the moment, we had 5 in the other day, didn't we? I think little tiny ones.
Yes.
So they'll be with us for a long time.
Yeah, so we've started to get a number of young hedgehogs actually. We're starting to get into the season where they'll appear. Our orphan season tends to work in sections. So you start by getting your fox cubs in, and then you start getting your badger cubs in, and then as they sort of wane, we start to get into the hedgehogs, maybe the second brood of baby birds. Everything has its own place. But we've had a number of those in at the moment, some really, really small ones. Sort of tiny little pink things where the spines are still quite soft. But they are doing really well. They're with a number of our orphan feeders at the moment. They're being cared for very well. And hopefully they will all grow up into big, spiky, angry hedgehogs so that we can put them back into the wild.
Laurie, people are being ever so nice to you on the chat.
Oh, really?
Have you noticed these comments? Oh, Simon and Laurie together, you are a total charm offensive. Well, I think I am. I think Laurie's the Antichrist, but obviously you don't, guys. You obviously think that he's young and virile and good looking, and I'm just his old supporter. I'm the fall guy, aren't I, nowadays?
I'm the reason we don't have 1 million subscribers.
Yeah,
if it was just you, we'd be on 10 million already.
Oh no, I don't think so, Laurie. And I think, you know, I don't even do the rescues anymore. I look at it and go, Laurie, that's one for you. It looks too complicated for me, far too difficult to do. I'm going to jump over a fence.
Not true.
We'll see. Well, we did have another rescue the other day, didn't we?
We've had a couple of interesting ones recently.
Are you going to talk about them, or shall I talk about them?
No, you can talk about it. Both of these were you rescues.
Laurie's going to let me talk. Now, guys, you know, I'm honoured that Laurie's giving me my couple of minutes.
Don't push it, Cal.
On the live chat. So we went out to a kestrel chick. No, I'm not going to talk about that one because I don't know much about that one. You know more about that one. I'm going to do the see, kestrel chick returned to nest. That's got to be one of yours, Laurie, because that's one of yours.
He's
man.
Reading the notes completely wrong.
I am. I've got the notes here right in front of me. I'm going to talk about the peregrine falcon down a chimney, which is what I started to talk about, then lost my train of thought entirely. Yeah. So we got a call from a lady over in Epsom, and she said she had a peregrine falcon had fallen down her chimney. So I sort of thought, okay, it's either going to be a pigeon or an owl or something like that. Anyway, we got our little drain can, we shoved it through a hole in the chimney, and lo and behold, there's a very angry juvenile peregrine staring at me through the chimney. But obviously to get this peregrine falcon out was going to be tricky, because we had to cut a large hole in his chimney. There was a big air brick at the bottom. So we started to hack into the air brick, and I was using my masonry skills with a large hammer and a chisel. And we managed to get it broken off. We broke it off in sections, and funnily enough, I thought it was going to be a nightmare to get out, because peregrine falcons have got very sharp talons, and if you put your hand in to get it, it's going to hurt. But we got the chimney slightly open, and it really tried to come out of the hole very quickly. It obviously couldn't, there wasn't enough gap, so I made a slightly bigger gap, and I got one of our rescue cages, put it up against the chimney, and like clockwork, good peregrine that he was, he jumped into the rescue cage, job done. So he's still with us at the moment. He had fallen down the chimney and he wasn't very happy, done a bit of damage to his feathers. We'll see where that story goes in due course, I think.
Yeah, that one will make its way onto YouTube as and when we know more on that one. So
who knows? And then I'm going to talk about the only other one I did. Well, I did it with Laurie actually. To be honest, rescues of fox cubs when they get trapped often take two people. This was a fox cub that had jumped over a fence. We go out so many of this type of rescue where there's just a tiny V-shaped gap in the fence, or it be in pillars or something like that, and for some reason, of all the fence they could have jumped over, they jump over this little V-shaped gap. I'm going to do this, it's not meant to be rude, guys. And they just get a leg or a tail or something trapped in the bottom of the V, and they're absolutely stuck. They can't go any further. So we had to open the fence up. I got it in the grass, but Laurie just opened the fence up a bit and the fox came out. He was trapped by his back leg. And the damage, we hope, is not going to be too severe. The only problem with all these rescues is when they get stuck in something like that and spend several hours just dangling from a fence, there is a very strong chance of a what's it injury, of a
constriction injury.
That's the one I wanted. You see, if I go Laurie knows the word I was searching for. So Maru shaved it down, had a good look. It certainly is a bit exposed. There was one of the ligaments exposed, but we're hoping the constriction injury won't be so bad that it causes the skin to go necrotic and die. She's bathing it every day, she's dressing it every day. At the moment we can't stitch it up and do anything, because we just need to see what's going to happen to that skin. So with a bit of luck, it's fingers crossed, because of so many of those type of injuries mean that it's going to be a PTS, because it's literally just lost the use of that limb or something more serious. So it was a little fox cub, it was very sweet, and with a bit of luck, fingers crossed and a fair wind, we'll get it back out to the wild within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that would be good news for those sort of injuries. If you've got fences, guys, in your garden, or anything where two pillars converge and get quite tight into a V, all you've got to do is put a bit of wire or something across the top, or a bit of wood, just something, so that V, and I can't do it that way around, I've got to do it this way around, so that V gets something above it, so if an animal goes anywhere near it, it can't slip down that bit. And it's so easy to do. Just look around your garden, just have a look. If you've got anything like that, just do something to block that V up. You can put a bit of wood in the top, a bit of wire across the top of it, anything to stop that happening, because we go out to quite a few of those every year, don't we, Mr. Brayley?
We do, and it's not just the fences you'd think as well would get stuck. So any of the ones with the obvious V's or the obvious gaps, you know, the wooden slat fencing where it's sort of lying on each other, we get a lot of that. Even if that pulls away slightly, we get legs or tails or anything sort of trapped in there, and we've had to separate quite a few of those. So as Simon was saying, even if you just put a block of wood on the top, just nail it into the top, just to make sure that if anything does happen to catch it just in the wrong space, it's sort of got enough wood that it's not going to get trapped in that wood.
No, that'd be really great. And I think Laurie, we should really consider whether we're going to get rid of Abby actually now. I mean,
that's
her boyfriend
not very
Adam.
nice.
Her boyfriend Adam is taking the Michael. He is taking not £9.99 tonight, but he's given us £10 and 3p.
£10 and 3p is a good amount.
£10 and 3p. That's it. So if we keep going on and on at him, one day it'll be £1,000 and 3p, and I'll have a heart attack. So there you go. If you want to see a heart attack live on our vlog, then obviously that's how to get Adam to do it. I bet they'll all be bribing Adam now to give us £1,000. So what else we got going on? We've got Lucy here. Lucy Kells, vetting us here for a long time. She's in the chat somewhere, from sunning herself in sunny Portugal. which is a lot better than here today. It's not so nice here today, but the weather's going to be nicer later on in the week. We're going to have what looks like, although the forecasts aren't that accurate in the UK, we're going to have quite a long 10-day dry spell with no rain. So guys, as always, what do we say to you? Please put out water, low water for the mammals, high water for the birds, and not something so deep that they could come into damage with it. Just put it in, top it every day, and all these little animals, because you think all the babies are born this spring, they're all becoming sort of juveniles or sort of delinquents, rather, like Laurie at the moment. But they do find it hard to find food, and obviously food's one thing, but water's vital. If they don't get water within a couple of days, 3 days, they're going to die of dehydration. So put out water, guys. Just try and support them. If you see anything you're worried about, please give us a call, or your local wildlife centre a call, because they will be able to help, I'm sure, as we all do all the time. So this goes worldwide. Anybody with a real dry spell anywhere in the world, especially in Florida, I think if you get that happening in Florida, you should give me a call, and I should come over and try to sort the situation out for you, because I love Florida. Beautiful place, been there quite a few times.
As a couple of people have noticed in the chat as well, it is actually a special day for our Deputy CEO, Lou. It's her birthday, so happy birthday to Lou. I'm sure you'd enjoy that. She is going to hate me. She is in the chat. I will end up fired tomorrow. But happy birthday to Lou, and I hope you all share that one.
I did ask if her boyfriend was going to cook her dinner, and she said no chance, or something like that. She didn't quite use those words, but so apparently it's not. And I gave her a rock. Lou's going to build a rockery. Heaven help us all. Lou's going to build a rockery in her garden, which is the size of a large postage stamp. So I gave her one rock from Randall's, which my girlfriend scrubbed up, made it look very pretty. So that can be her keystone of her rockery. That's probably, actually, think of the size of her garden, that's probably the entire rockery, one stone. But never mind.
You're going to pay for that one tomorrow.
Yeah, I pay for everything, you know that. I am the fall guy.
Oh, God. Anyway, so moving on to some of the questions that have been coming in. Just before we do that, we're just going to thank a couple of people. So there's been a lot of donations coming through, so thank you so much to everyone who has helped out. Hakata has donated €10, so thank you very, very much. Gems donated $9.99 US. Thank you very much as well. Crazy Ferret Lady, I like the name, has donated 50, I believe that's Norwegian kroner. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And just put, thank you for all you do for the animals. I love you to bits and will always support you. Greetings from me, 4 ferrets and 3 cats in Norway. Well, you've made it to Norway, Simon. I'd love to visit Norway.
Yeah, Norway would be good. I'd like to go there. There's so many places I'd love to go to. One day, you never know. I've got 3 or 4 bucket lists, haven't I? One of my bucket lists is to see the bears on Salmon Run in Alaska. I'd love to see that, although it's very cold, so they'll have to do it in the summer, because I don't like going anywhere that's cold. I want to see sea otters.
That's true.
It's another one of my sort of wish list things. Yes, and I'd love to go and swim with manatees again. We went out on Wildlife SOS many years ago, and we spent some time, and we went out one day just to be with the manatees, and sadly it was a day I was really very ill. And trouble is, when you're doing a TV series like that, you go out for 3 weeks, you've got a schedule of filming which is just unbelievable. Everybody thinks it's really great going on a trip and going abroad and doing things. I've never worked so hard in my life. Normally our days start at 5, they normally end at 1 or 2 in the morning, and often when we're going from location to location, from the time we finish filming, we're in the car driving to the next place or going to the next place to be there for the next morning. But we went in with manatees, and the day before I'd been quite ill, and I rang up the sort of hotel doctor saying, look, I cannot be ill, guys. I cannot not do this thing. So they sort of got one of their doctors that's obviously linked to the hotel in some ways, and I have never had so many injections in my bottom in my life. I don't know what he filled me full of, but I was so full up that I managed to get the rest of the trip done without going down again. I couldn't sit down, mind you, for the rest of the trip, but I managed to finish filming, and they got me better. I think I spent 24 hours in bed and then was filming the next day. But when we swam with manatees, I was really off colour, and I so desperately wanted to be with them. When you go in with them, you just be very quiet, you don't go up to them, you let them come to you, but they do, they come up to you and you can tickle their tummies and whatever. It's so beautiful. The trouble I think there where we were with them is there's so many accidents from jet skis that you see all these horrible straking marks down their backs and on their sides where they've been hit by a jet ski. So guys, if you've got manatees, they are beautiful creatures. They are so gentle. Just think when you've got a jet ski, just throttle it back when you're in the manatee area and try not to harm them, because they are incredible creatures and I would love to swim with them again one day. So help me God. I'll shut up now, Laurie.
I've heard far too much about you getting injections in your rear end to last me a lifetime. Another donation, Ralach, I'm not entirely sure, donated 100 Danish kroner and has put, thanks for the effort you guys do, good work and stay safe. Thank you very much. Stay safe yourself on that one.
Brilliant. Everybody's so great to us. I mean, how they follow us every 2 weeks. I would get so bored having to listen to me every 2 weeks. It's bad enough having to live with myself and be with myself every day.
I get bored every day.
You don't need to be here, Laurie. I've told you can go any time you like, but you know you won't go past 2/3 of the drive before I put a tranquilizer dart in your bottom this time, because you're not getting escaping from this gate until I've gone. When I'm in my box, you can do what you want. Until that time, you're stuck here. Yeah,
there are no words.
There are no words. There are no guys. You guys definitely earned a bottle of Bacardi and Coke after catching that pigeon in that amazing gaff. In that amazing gaff. Oh, that pigeon. Oh, that rescue.
Yes.
Have you put that up already?
Yeah, that's out.
No, we did have a Del Boy moment on that one, didn't we? We did have a Del Boy.
We did.
It's quite a posh house, guys.
I've never concentrated on where my net was so much in any rescue.
You can always tell when it's a posh house, because I put on my posh voice, my very posh voice. Angel Help's just given us $250. Angel Help, you are a star. I'm losing my voice. I'm so shattered at $250. Thank you so much. But no, we got into this lovely house, and it was a massive hall with a minstrel's gallery above it, and this pigeon was flying back and forth, and right in the top and taking up a lot of that hallway, up about 20 feet above us, sorry, probably more, 30 feet above us, with this massive chandelier. And for those of us old enough to remember Fools and Horses with Del Boy and the chandelier episode, which is probably one of the most famous episodes on British television, at least, when they knocked the wrong chandelier through the roof. We won't go there, but yeah, they did damage to a chandelier, and I could just envision Laurie getting over enthusiastic over the rescue and swiping this chandelier with his net, and me having to ring our insurance company saying, please guys, help. But no, it all went well, didn't it? It all went well, and we did catch it.
We did.
And it was a rescue release, actually, that one, wasn't it? I remember now. It was a rescue release. So that's quite cool, guys. So yeah, so we do have a bit of a laugh here. We do have a bit of a laugh. Most of Laurie's laughs are at my expense, I hasten to add, which really upsets me. But
I can't
being
defend
old,
that.
I can't do a lot about it. I'm so old. If he gets cross, he hits me, and I just sit quietly in the corner, not knowing what to do next. And Abby's catching it from Laurie, actually. Abby's getting quite lippy now herself, quite lippy. Bit worried about that, Laurie. Bit worried. We will make her come on this live one day, won't we? We'll make her do a little guest appearance.
She won't appreciate a guest appearance.
She might not appreciate it, but just think of the money she'd bring in, because she's so gorgeous. I mean, Adam would have to give us £1,000 that day. He'd have no choice.
Abby has made several secret appearances, and there's an entire video by herself. So. Give her a break. We'll see
where give her a break. I don't give anybody a break. So what else have we done? A pigeon chandelier, signet with fishing line. Yes, that was a bit of an interesting one. We got called by a lady who's one of our volunteers. No, not one of our volunteers. Yes, she is. She's a volunteer, and she also teaches at a school where we do IDOT and other things. And she rang us because she saw a signet with fishing line hanging out of its mouth. It was on the River Thames, so it's quite a large river to try to navigate. Laurie and I got there. We had our own boat, but luckily they had a boat anyway. So out we poddled on this boat, trying to find this signet and Mum and Dad. It was quite sad because there's only one signet left. It's the only surviving signet with the two parents. And we found it. By the time we got to it, there was no fishing line on it. So I was about to sort of come away and think, well, job done, guys. That's all great. But then we noticed it wasn't using one of its legs. Now, we know when they're relaxing, they often tuck one leg up, sort of back along their back, and they just swim with one leg. That's fine. But even when we got it a bit agitated by going close to it, it still didn't put that leg in the water. And the more we chased it and it still didn't do it, I started to get a bit worried that it couldn't use that leg anyway. So the only option for us is to catch it and have a look. The parents were not happy, were they, Laurie?
No, not at all.
The parents were very
You got
angry.
quite aggressive responses, shall we say?
Yeah, funny that. They tried to get in the boat. They tried to attack us. Rightly so. They're good parents, swans. But we did manage to get the cygnet. We checked his leg and it was absolutely fine. So we put it back very quickly because we didn't want to upset the parents anymore. And that was sort of the rescue that never was, really.
Yeah, and then we actually thought that the female had some fishing line in.
We did.
And that one was also removed very easily as well. So,
yeah, but we don't talk of that, Laurie, because I made a grab for the adult and I missed it. So I told you not to mention that tonight. You know, I never fail on any rescue. I went for its neck and I had I missed it. I mean, I'm human, guys. You might not think it. I promise I'm human, but I never make mistakes. Ish. So are we going to start? Let's just start teasing them, Laurie. Let's tease our loyal and wonderful audience with your amazing photography.
Thank you.
Are you going to put one up on screen so they can see what they're buying?
Yes. So we have 3 different prints. I have them here. You can't see them at the moment.
That's really useful, Laurie. Thank you for that. It's really helpful. Guy, I wanted to buy this print. Laurie took it, but you can't see it. Are we going to show them one of them?
We are. So we've got 3 different ones. 2 of them are going to be auctioned off to the highest bidder. So how it's going to work is one is a fox and one is a deer. I'll put those up on the screen in a minute. And if you want to bid for those, just put in the chat, bid for the fox and then your amount, bid for the deer, your amount. And then we also have a third photo, which is actually an ex-patient of Wildlife Aid. So some of you may remember, I think last year we put a young tawny owl back into its nest, and the mum flew and hit me in the back of the head.
Laurie got beaten up by an
I did.
owl. Laurie got beaten up by an owl. I thought it was quite funny. I did see the funny side of that.
I find it funny when you're beaten up by swans, so I think it's fair. But I went back to that, myself and my partner, we went back to that over the course of the next 6 weeks. And it's actually a photo of the owl having just left the nest and started to fledge. So that one will be given away to someone in the chat this evening. We'll decide on who's given the best question or the most interesting question, and then we'll get that one sent out to you.
Somebody just said they'll send us £30 towards Simon's weight in pounds after the chat is over. I'm not quite sure what they're doing with that. So are they trying to guess my weight? They're trying to say I'm overweight, Laurie.
No, we were saying, don't you remember the original one where we were donating £1 for every year when you just had your birthday?
That's £1 million now, so that's the first million in the bank. So now we're doing weight. We've moved to weight now, have we? I don't even know my weight in pounds. I'm just working out my weight in pounds now. See what okay, that, and that, and that. Okay, I know my weight in pounds now.
I don't. I have no idea what I weigh.
I'm very fat, guys. I'm really very, very fat.
He's entering the 3rd dimension. It's terrifying.
I am. I'm in the 5th dimension, Laurie. You're way behind me, mate. Way behind me.
Anyway.
We're back to your pictures. Here we go.
These are the 3 photos. So, the one on the left, the foxes, that's actually sister and cub. Foxes will actually keep a vixen from the previous year back to help raise the next litter. So they're effectively sisters, those 2 cubs. That was taken some time ago. The owl at the top is the young tawny owl that we put back in the nest that has just left and is making its own way in the world. And then the deer at the bottom is in the middle of the rut a few years ago. So if any of you want any of those, please just put your bids down in the comments. We'll keep an eye, Abby and I will keep an eye out on those, and we'll see who gets the highest one. If you're the highest bidder by the end of the chat, you get the print. And we'll all sign it.
Are you going to sign these prints, Laurie?
Yeah, I think we'll all sign it, so it'll be signed on the back by everyone in here.
So that'll make them worth a lot less. If we all sign it, it's going to be worth a lot less. You realise that, don't you?
Oh, God. So, just so you can see roughly again. So this is the deer, this one here. So it's all mounted and ready to go. This is the deer ready to go. These are A4 size prints. So the print inside is A4 and the frame is about an A3 size on that one. And then here is the owl. So this is the tawny owl here. All done. They're done on a satin paper, so not a gloss, not a matte. They're done on a sort of mid-range satin paper. So that's the tawny owl. And then the fox is a portrait. So this one. So this is fox and cub. So if you want any of those, please just leave a bid in the comments, and we'll keep an eye out. We'll keep coming back to those throughout the evening.
Any bid that Lucy makes on any of these prints, we're actually going to multiply by 10 because she's so wealthy. So whatever she bids, she's going to have to pay 10 times that amount to get it, because, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. If you leave Simon in the lurch and leave Wildlife Aid, your life is doomed forever.
Well.
So yeah, keep bidding, guys, because I mean, if we go too cheap, Laurie will be sulking for days, if not weeks, if not years. So please bid up. They are great photographs. Honestly, he's a very talented young man. I won't say that in front of him. Thank God I can't see his face.
It's in a different room, so it's fine.
I know, it's good for me. It's very funny listening. I feel like one of the bodyguards on that film Bodyguard, because we've got our earpieces in, so I can hear him through here, and he can hear me presumably the same way. Very
I can also hear you between the rooms, to be honest.
I can hear that just a bit. I'm gonna get my gun out in a minute and start waving it around. I can be very quick.
And that's how you lose your license.
Oh, is it? Okay. It's only 2 fingers, Laurie, and I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm going to leave it at that. So people love your photos, Laurie, and so they should. Thanks,
guys. Oh, that's
very,
very kind.
Those.
Very,
Thanks
very kind.
For enjoying those. That's good.
Oh, we've had the first bid as well. So £20 for the fox print from Darren, who is one of our volunteers as well. So thank you very much, Darren.
Darren, if you come and see me quietly afterwards, I'll give it to you for $19.99. You know, let's not get Laurie too excited.
Oh God!
A few more donations have come in. Just before we went on air, Laurie, just before we went on air tonight, you told me an interesting thing about a fox. A fox that is now, for a fact, we know is over 8 years old, which for a fox in the wild is a tremendous age. The average lifespan for the urban fox is about 18 months. The average lifespan for a fox in the wild near an urban area is 3 years. And this fox we looked at and dealt with 8 years ago, and we had cause to have it in again. Did we have it in again? We did.
No, we didn't. So
we saw it again.
It came in 2012 with a territorial fighting wound. Not a fighting wound. Sorry, she'd been chased away by her mum and was left with quite a nasty wound to the side of her face. So that was taken in. It was actually Lucy that treated her. All stitched up, all worked back. A couple of days of antibiotics and sort of topical wound spray. She was then sent back to the wild, and we thought we'd never see anything more than that. Amazingly, Alana, who is one of our volunteers and my partner, she's sort of followed the foxes.
You nearly said one of your girlfriends, then, didn't you? I heard that.
No, I didn't.
Slip was
that
coming.
Would have been very strange. She actually follows the foxes. She does a lot of photography work herself, and amazingly, earlier this year we saw her again. So she's still got a slight scar to her face from what was there before, and she has a really characteristic break in the end of her tail. Not sure how it happened, but very, very characteristic break. She's looking really, really well, and we believe she's now a mother herself. So
should have been a mother lots of times, really.
Yeah, after 8 years, she is still going on, which is incredible. Because as you say, the average lifespan of an urban fox is 18 months. Even though they can live as long as a dog, if they are able to.
Nobody lives as long as me, Laurie. Remember that. They say only the good die young, so I'm here forever, guys. I'm not going nowhere.
Some more bids coming in for the photos. So Biscaya08 has bid £25 for the fox print. So that is this one here.
Come on, guys,
so
£25. Do I hear 25? Do I hear 26? 26 anywhere in the room. £26, 26, 26, 27. I'll bid 27, Laurie. £27 for the fox print. Did I just say that?
And
Who
Janet has actually bid £50 for the owl print. So we were going to give that one away, but I think if you want that one, that's more than happy. I'll make up another one of those and we can send that one out as well, so we can do both. So if anyone wants to bid for the owl print, feel free. But there's also a chance to win that one as well. We've had no bids for the deer yet, so if anyone wants the deer, feel free to donate in the chat. Adam Warner has just put, I'll donate £1,000 if Simon gives me the car that's gathering dust in the garage.
Adam Warner, eat your heart out. Never will it happen in my lifetime. And when I go, my car's going with me in the coffin. So I've just turned down £1,000, Laurie. I've turned
You
down
have. I'm surprised. I am surprised. You never turned down £1,000.
There's so much chat going on. There's a lot of banter going on tonight. I know it's just the banter between you and I, but people say they like the banter. So banter is obviously good, Mr. Bradley.
We get on secretly. We just hide it very well. A couple of questions that have come in. So Rebecca Rabbit 32 has asked, have you ever
Laurie,
had an
can I
animal...
stop you for a sec? Laurie, can I stop you for one sec? A lot of people are saying the sound is about 20 seconds earlier than the picture. What's causing that?
That shouldn't be the case at all. That should be all working fine. Everything appears to be working right this end. Yeah, okay. Abby's checking, so I imagine, unfortunately, it looks like a latency issue with your internet connection, unfortunately. Please do leave in the comments which one, if you're having any audio issues, and we'll see what we can do.
And also, it'd be nice to hear whether they think the sound's better tonight, because you're on a totally different system. You normally were coming over the telephone.
Yes.
And now you're actually live on a mic like I am. So guys, just let us know what you think of the sound, whether it's adequate, whether it could still be better. I personally think if I was much louder and Laurie much quieter, that'd be really fantastic. But we'll have to see what you say. We are watching the screen diligently, which is why my eyes are always sliding off to the left, because to the left of my camera are all the questions coming up, and I get to glance at them occasionally. So when my eyes slide left, or stage right, as you would say, that's what I'm doing.
Everyone's saying sync and audio works fine, so hopefully it's alright for most of you. Might be worth refreshing the stream if you are having any issues, and hopefully it should reset itself. So, the question, have you ever had an animal willingly surrender itself and just walk into the centre by itself?
Yeah, Laurie. He did surrender.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
He did surrender. I mean, Abby we had to bring in kicking and screaming, but Laurie did come in by himself. You're
lucky she can't hear this particular
Can she not
chat.
Hear that? Excellent.
She was hear it in about 30 seconds, which is the rough delay on it.
Oh,
so in about 30 seconds, something will be flying towards your head from the next room.
Do us a song, Simon, just to test the sound quality out. Hey, one day, guys, I will do a song. I always wanted to be on the stage. I always wanted to do music. Believe it or not, when I was young, I was a choir boy.
Shackles around my ankles.
I do like. Oh, Abby's now interrupting me. She's squeaking in the distance here. No,
your 30-second lifespan is up.
We're going to do a song one day. We will do it. I want to do Wildlife SOS the musical. I keep saying that to Laurie, and he just groans, and his eyes do a funny sort of. But no, it'd be quite fun. One day a song, but it'll cost you guys. Everything that I do will cost you. I can promise you. Get Laurie singing. Laurie can play the flute actually. Laurie plays lots of musical instruments. Don't you, Laurie?
Don't.
Laurie, come on. You made me play my trumpet pipe. Laurie can play the flute. I'll play the fool.
Oh God.
And Abby can. No, I can't say that on live stream. I can't say it.
You're already going to.
Look at that, Lucy from Wildlife. We need a musical episode of Wildlife SOS. We're going to have to do one, Laurie, one day.
Maybe just after I resign. A couple more bids have come in. So someone's bid £30 for the deer image. So that I believe is the current high bid. So this is the deer picture. This one here. Took an awful long time to get all three breaths. So this isn't Photoshop. This is actually how it was. He's bellowing at the time, so that's why you see the three breaths in there. So that's £30 is the current high bid for that one. So in terms of, have we ever had an animal walk into the centre and so on? We've never had anything sort of walk through the reception doors as far as I'm aware, but we have had a number of things that we've had to rescue on site. So our site is fairly open, and we do get the odd bird or animal or anything like that does need a rescue that has come down to site and needs to be caught up. So I suppose in that sense, yes, in a way. Cat Rose, do you have any badgers at the moment?
Do we have any what?
Badgers.
My ear's fallen out, Laurie. You've got very funny shaped ears, Laurie. It keeps falling out of my ear. We've got, what have we got? 11, 12, 13, 14 badgers, I think, from memory at the moment, all of this year's cubs. and they will all be going back out to the wild in probably September, October, depending upon the weather. We want to make sure when they do go out that the ground's soft enough for them to be able to dig for food, because half of their staple diet is worms. So if we send them out, if it's a very dry autumn, they're going to be in trouble. Having said that, we do support feed our foxes, our badgers, which have a soft release, for as long as we need to. We work with the East Surrey and the West Surrey Badger Group, who are amazing. We do the looking after, and Warwick Reynolds from the East Surrey Badger Group builds the sets and looks after them and monitors them and does everything he has to do, and works very hard. And believe it or not, he's even older and more senile than I am. And Laurie, he was saying an interesting thing to me the other week. He's saying, he said basically it's sad nowadays because he's cracking on. He's getting older, rather like me. And there's not the youngsters who come into this now. When he started, he was one of many youngsters who tried to get in and do some work with the Badger Group. I mean, for all you guys, maybe lockdown has cured that a bit. You've seen the benefits of being close to nature, of being out with nature, of understanding the beauty of our wildlife. All these groups need people like me and like Warwick, but we need youngsters to take over from us when the time comes. I mean, Laurie got to do it without any choice at all. He was told he was going to do it. But guys, volunteer for these groups. They're always looking for young blood, really. They're looking for people to take over. It's a great learning ground. You'll learn from, Warwick's been doing it for about, I was going to say 100 years. He's not quite that old, but very nearly. But yeah, he's looking for somebody to take over from him, because he can't. He goes out and builds these release sets by himself, and it's a big job. You have to dig 2 feet down into the ground. You have to dig into the set. You have to put the wire down. You have to build the set up and do all the work. And it takes him hours. And the poor old guy, he's getting, he's even older than me, and I feel shattered half the time. So us old uns need a bit of help from you young uns. So don't ever be shy of volunteering to work with wildlife, with a wildlife group. They really do want you, trust me. Don't they, Laurie?
Yeah, very much so. And despite how we make it look, it is actually very rewarding. So I would highly, highly recommend it. I'm not going to repeat that to its face, but I would highly, highly recommend it.
Highly, highly recommend it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Lucas Walford has asked, has everything got easier for us since the lockdown restrictions have been eased slightly in the UK?
It really hasn't changed for us. As far as I understand it and I see it, this has been our busiest year ever, which is weird in a way. We've been having up to 80 patients a day. On some of our busiest day, we take a call every 4 minutes, which is just ridiculous considering we start at 9 and finish about 10 at night. So this has been probably our busiest year. It really, going into lockdown, made no change apart from made us busier, which is a bit weird. And coming out of lockdown as far as we have, hasn't really changed it either as far as I can see. So we do what we do it every year, come hell or high water, and no changes, I don't think. Do you see a change, Laurie, in your view of it all?
Not really. The only major change that we're sort of aware of is that luckily a lot of our volunteers are able to come back to the centre now. We're still not back 100% back to normal. We still have people that are isolating because they're sort of vulnerable or anything like that. So, but a lot of people have managed to come back. So we're luckily starting to pick up a bit more. But we're still very, very busy.
One thing we must say at this stage, Guy, we are so short of volunteers, and some of that is due to the fact that we haven't been able to hold inductions over the last few months. I think if I get it right, and Alice will correct me, I'm sure, on the chat in a minute, I think we're going to restart inductions at the beginning of August. But please, guys, volunteer. We are so short. We've been running on probably half staff for all these months, and these are our busiest months. So our volunteers have been run absolutely ragged. I mean, God bless them, because I wouldn't do what they do even if they paid me £1,000 a day. They've done a great job, so thank you for those who have, but we're very, very short. So we've got often 2 or 3 people doing the work that should be the work of 6 or 8. So it's manic here. It's more manic than ever before because of the COVID situation. So if you are close by, if you know anybody who lives close by to us, volunteer. Hopefully we can get inductions running very soon again and bring our work staff up to full strength, because we're always short. Even before COVID, we're often short in the spring season, so we need you far more than you need us, to be honest, guys. But thank you for those who have come. Your loyalty has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So we did want to take a short interlude. So as those who've been following these regularly know, we try and put in one clip from an older series of Wildlife SOS that most people will not have seen for many, many years. So this time it's actually Simon on a rescue, and it's Simon rescuing a hedgehog from between a fence and a brick wall. So here you go.
I don't remember it.
Most of our rescues start with a telephone call from a member of the public, during which we establish whether a call-out is needed. In this instance, it was a particularly prickly situation. A hedgehog had fallen down a gully and was well and truly trapped. What a very silly place for a hedgehog to get. Got to be slightly careful here, because if this fence springs back on it, it's going to squash it. So we'll try and get a bit of leverage on the fence to start with. And then pick up the other hook, hopefully, from the bottom. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Might be best actually with a net, Susan. If you can get a net, we can probably now get the net round it. Thank you very much. Right, thank you. Right, we've got it, that's good news. Stuck in the bottom of the net there, which is ideal. One hedgehog. Quite healthy, we can see that it's dehydrated in a minute. And then we can let it go, hopefully. Oh, sweet one. How you doing, eh? How you doing, Hodge Pig? How you doing, Hodge Pig? Eh? A hedgehog is one of the more difficult creatures to assess in the field, as they immediately curl up when handled. We can look, however, for the obvious signs such as broken limbs or open wounds, which can attract blowflies. This results in the most horrific infestations of maggots, which can end up in the animal being literally eaten alive. It's not dehydrated, which is good. Let's see if it walks all right.
I'm back.
We're back, guys, we're back. You've seen that, you saw me in my double denims, and there were so many comments about my double denims. It's my lonesome cowboy. They were the days. I had hair, I was a reasonably good shape, I wasn't too fat, and rescuing all sorts of things. So that's what it's all about, guys. What, no gloves, blimey, Simon. Yeah, no gloves, hedgehogs, love them. I love hedgehogs, they're really cute.
For those of you asking what year it was, that was filmed in 1996, I believe.
Thank you, Laurie. When I want those sort of comments made, I'll ask for them, thank you. We don't want to know how old I am now, thank you very much indeed. No, long time ago. We started filming for the Wildlife SOS series in 1996. It first aired on Channel 5 at Easter, the Easter weekend of 1997. And if anybody remembers Channel 5 from those days, it was like watching Wildlife SOS through a snowstorm. But it was funny, we were one of 50 programmes they aired that first weekend. We were the lowest budgeted programme they aired. I think we were number 11 on the ratings for that weekend. So that's not so bad, is it? Not so bad. And it went on to run for 16 years afterwards. But now obviously you all know you're on YouTube, because that's where we are right now. Yeah, we keep going, guys, we keep going. I'm just not as fast as I was, as good looking as I was, as nimble as I was, as fit as I was, and many other things. But I am more senile. Senility has improved with age, hasn't it, Laurie?
Well, Sherry Gorse has just asked, was I even born when that footage was shot? Yes, I was 3.
Laurie wasn't born, he was spawned. Laurie was never born.
I fell off a tree.
He was spawned, definitely, without any doubt. But there we are. No, it was quite Who said that? 1896. You cheeky little swine, you. That's not very nice, is it?
Simon invented the wheel. Just.
What, the one I clamped over your neck, Laurie?
Right, so
how are we doing on prints? How are we doing on the auction prints, Laurie?
We're doing alright at the moment. So for those of you who have joined us later or have not quite kept up with this one, we are auctioning 3 of my wildlife photography prints. So the fox, the owl and the deer, and we're going to give another copy of the owl away to the best comment of the evening. So you can win that one for free.
So if anybody wants to say Simon's the most handsome man you've ever met, I'm going to put a vote in for that one to win, personally, Laurie. I think.
I believe it's reasonably decent. It's about sort of £50 for each print at the moment is the current highest bid, roughly. We are keeping an eye on
I know
that
you're used to getting £1,000 for each of your prints, so I think that's quite embarrassing for you, Laurie, personally.
You flatter me.
So we've got a question. While we were watching that video, guys, somebody
Yes.
rang in and said we phoned the centre last week to see if you could help with the fox with a back leg injury, as it had got a lot worse, but was disappointed to be told that all the time the fox is mobile. There's not much we can do. This is a thing that crops up a lot. We do, obviously, like any wildlife centre, I'm sure we do get complaints that we've done things wrong, we haven't answered the way you wanted. That is not the plan with this centre. We do our very best for every patient. Sometimes, yes, if a fox is very mobile, there's not a lot we can do, but we always suggest that people try to trap it by, feeding it in a shed or getting it in a shed and shutting the door quickly, which is always possible to do. But you've got to remember, guys, that over the last 3 months, we have been very short of staff and we're very short of receptionists, and some of the receptionists aren't possibly as trained as they much as can be. We've always got Alice with an eagle ear, so we don't miss that much. There will be the odd thing that's done wrong. I'm sure we all do make mistakes. We all do get it wrong. So, always pull us up on it, because we're here to help. But we've had probably 3 or 4 comments where a receptionist hasn't been aware of something, or our protocols have changed during lockdown, or something's happened. If a fox is very mobile, there's not much we can do, to be honest. But show us a video, give us a bit of a clue as to what's going on, and we will always do our very best. We don't go out to anything that we think is not worth going out to, but we think there's a chance, even if there's a chance in a million of catching it, we will do our very best. So I'm sorry that you felt hard done by that. If it's still around and you want to send us an email to let us know what's going on, that's great. But we will always help. But a very mobile animal, an animal on 3 legs, which I've said a million times to people, is far faster than we are on 2, which makes our life very difficult. But there is always the option of sort of shutting it in somewhere where you can feed it, shut the door quick on a sort of remote piece of string, and that gives us a chance of catching it. But what we don't do, to be honest, is we won't go out very often to animals that somebody's just seen an hour ago and have driven past and it's on the side of the road. It would take too much time. We work our average call out time for rescues is about an hour minimum, and if you think that's all of us leaving the centre, all the petrol it costs us to get there, and probably in that instance to go to something that's not there anyway, we do have to sort of be very careful with our time, and we have to make sure that we're always there to respond to those that we know we can help. So this is no excuse. I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm just saying that we are aware of everybody's calls. Sometimes the odd thing does slip through the net, and we sincerely apologise for that. But you can always send me an email in person. I do get emails from people about something which we haven't done right, or something we haven't done wrong, and I do try to answer every single email we get. Please don't splurge me with about 1 million emails tomorrow, because I won't get through them all. But I probably get over 200 emails a day, and I do try to answer them all personally. Sometimes it's very difficult, but we do our best, guys. I'm sorry if you felt hard done by. It wasn't intended. It's not what we're here for. After all, we've been going for 40 years. We do work very hard. We spend 24/7, 365 doing what we do, so we do care. And if you got the wrong impression, it wasn't intended, guys, by any stretch or form.
So a couple more questions. So Michael H has asked, how many rescues or calls do you have a day?
It really depends. Sometimes you can sit here for a week and do nothing, and then you suddenly get sort of 6 calls on the trot and don't even get back to the centre, which is why our car is very well equipped with pretty much everything we need for 90% of our rescues. So it varies hugely. On average, I don't know, on average it's probably, with all the rescue, we don't do them, Laurie and I don't do them all ourselves, to be honest. We can't, we've got other things to do as well, but we've got a mighty volunteer force. We've got good old Ron, who's also about 120, rather like me, who goes out to call after call. We've got Pat Laird, we've got all sorts of people who go out and do these rescues for us, with us, and you know, we'll go out to things that need specific kit, or we need a boat, or we need specific gear to get it rescued. And if it's up a tree, it's going to be Laurie, because I'm not going to do that anymore. Long gone are those days. So yeah, we undertake a lot of rescues every day, but at this time of year, probably more than many. And the other bad time of year we have is when the clocks go back in the autumn, when the animals aren't used to cars being on the roads. The clocks go back. They think it's safe for them to come out because it's dark, and we get an awful lot of RTAs for a few weeks after that happens, until the animals adjust. You know, they're not to know that we're going to put our clocks back, and it does create a bit of grief. And also we always find often we get these rescues over the period of a full moon. I think animals move around more probably just after or just before a full moon, and we seem to get more rescues around that time than anything else. So I always watch when the full moon is, not so I can go and howl at it to upset Laurie, but because that's when the rescues tend to come in. Laurie, it's over to you.
Light Expeditions has asked, hello from hot Phoenix in Arizona, USA. How many swans have you rescued recently?
Oh, God knows. Not that many. I mean, not hundreds. We've certainly probably rescued in the teens. But yeah, over the years, it's been an awful lot. People love me doing swan rescues. I don't know why. Only because they like to see me getting beaten up, I think. But swans are pussycats. They're all fine. It doesn't really hurt, I promise you. So all this sort of thing you hear about swans breaking legs, breaking arms, I guess if you were right at the wrong angle and your joint was sort of locked off or something, it could happen. I've never been significantly hurt. I get the odd bruise from a swan, but that's about it. So yeah, we rescue everything, don't we, Laurie? I rescued Laurie, just remember that, guys. I rescued him personally.
Oh God.
I don't think my mother ever paid me for that.
I can't
remember.
Laura Kane has asked, do you guys work with the RSPCA at all? We do, actually. So we know quite a lot of the local RSPCA inspectors. A lot of the time, if they're called out for wildlife calls, they'll either do the rescue and bring it to us for sort of assessment and help, or they'll pass the call on to us if it's something a bit more specialised. So we do work quite closely with the RSPCA.
I mean, the RSPCA are very stretched. I mean, we work with the ACOs and the inspectors. At inspector and ACO level, they're great people, love them to bits, and we work together a lot of the time. I mean, I sometimes get a call if they can't work out how to do something, or if we need help, we'll give them a call as well. In fact, the last big one we did was when Lewis came out, when we did that swan up the tree, Laura, if you remember.
Yes,
on that grotty night, and Lewis was there offering his help and support. But yeah, we work closely together. They're a great organisation. And they're a bit shamed sometimes, which is a great pity, because they, you know, it's all very well us saying, well, you know, we do a lot of wildlife, but they get so much more to do. They have to do a lot of prosecutions, they have to deal with a lot of domestics. I mean, I don't think I particularly enjoy being an RSPCA inspector, because I get sort of too bogged down in paperwork, and I'd probably start to be nasty to people who are nasty to animals. I don't think I'd last very long. I think it'd be a bit of a problem for us, Laurie, that one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and interesting enough, we had a question earlier about whether we have ever done anything involving prosecution as well.
We do get involved with it. I mean, if we've been out on a rescue and something's been in a trap, and we obviously film a lot of our rescues, or we take pictures of a lot of our rescues, so we do get involved in some of the prosecutions they do. We've been involved in prosecutions over snares. I actually even went up to the House of Commons once because I wanted to know more about snares, and I remember I got a very weird look, because we were standing in this very posh room and everybody was talking about snares, and everybody was a bit scared of what they were saying, and nobody stood up. So I just stood up. I got one of our free running snares, which you can actually quite easily make into a locking snare, and I took my sleeve off. I rolled my sleeve up and got this snare, and I wrenched it round my arm really hard, and all the veins in my arm started to sort of pulsate violently, because I'd now locked off the blood supply to my lower arm. And I was saying, this is the sort of damage that snares can do to things. And I did get the most weird looks, because I don't think anybody's ever stood up. I don't think anybody's really sort of got emotional about these things. And I said, this is the sort of damage that snares do, and they should be banned. So that was my one and only time in the House of Commons to talk about snares. I've never been invited back since, Laurie. Do you think there's something in that?
I'm not going to get in that.
Probably not. Probably sensible.
A couple more
It's
comments.
8 o'clock. We've nearly come to the end.
It is, yeah. We're getting
How are we
fairly
doing
close
on
to
the
end.
auction? How are we doing on auctions? Has Abby been keeping a look on it?
Yes, yeah, so we are keeping a tab on that one. I believe there's one come in as well. Hazel B is bid £52 for the fox pick. So that is currently the highest bidder on the fox pick. I believe the others...
For the owl.
So the owl is currently going at 50. So let me just get these out. So this is the fox pick in question. So this one's currently at £52. If you want that one and you want to bid more than that, please leave it down in the comments. And then the owl picture, which is this one, a former patient of WAF and one that's actually featured in one of our videos. That is currently up at £50 for this little guy.
That's very cheap, Laurie. I've always said you're cheap, Laurie, haven't I? I've always said Laurie's very cheap.
I'm just highly affordable.
But can you prove me wrong, guys? Can you prove me wrong and put a smile on Laurie's face? Really important.
And this deer is also currently at £50. So 50, 50 and 52. So if any of you want to bid more for that, please leave it in the chat and Abby will keep an eye out.
There's something going on, Laurie. I can't watch the chat at the moment. There's something going on about watch out for the backlash. I'm not quite sure. Perhaps Abby can tell us what's going on there. There'll be a backlash somewhere. I think it's probably to do with Nigel Grant, but I wouldn't want to swear to it.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, we'll get to it. A couple of comments. So, a comment from Wildlife Rescuer. Hi Simon, love the work you guys do from all of us here at Oxfordshire Wildlife Rescue. So, hello to everyone there as well.
Thank you, guys.
And apparently, most of the rescue techniques used were learnt from you in your early days. So they're probably going to be wrong.
Oh, just watch me now, guys. I know even more tricks nowadays. I mean, we've probably been the first on many of different types of things. Things like we use when we use the aluminium panels. Things like the keep net that we use for all sorts of different rescues. That's really worked very, very well. So yeah, lots of things. But you always learn. I mean, I always say to anybody who comes here, the day you think you know it all, leave, because you never stop learning. I never stop learning. Luckily, I've got such a bad memory. I forgot what I learned the day before, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, there's always things to learn. So help us. Keep going with the pictures. I hope we do something well on that. Laurie and Abby, I guess, will pick out the best question of the evening, which will happen later on, and we'll let you know who it is. Presumably, how do we get in touch with these people if the chat's over, Laurie? Can we do that, or is that impossible?
It will be. Well, we'll probably try and decide on something before the end of the stream.
We're 2 minutes over time already, Laurie.
We'll do our best on that one. Just a couple of donations still coming in. So Matthias has donated €20, so thank you very much. Nigel Grant has donated £21 and says it's £1 for each year of Lose Life. So very well done, Nigel.
I'm going to say nothing to that, apart from Nigel. Won't help, mate. Won't help. You're far too old for
you
it.
are
Trust
going
me.
to. Okay, so for our next one, I'll be presenting it alone because Lou will not let Simon live through that particular comment.
21 years.
Myra Kinghorn, who's one of our volunteers, has donated £10 yet again. Thank you so much, Myra.
Honestly, Myra and I are going to fall out, Laurie. We are going to fall out.
Well, she has commented at the risk of making Simon a little cross. So thank you very, very much, Myra. That is very kind.
You wait till I see you next time, Kinghorn. Kinghorn, you're in trouble. Trust me.
Autumn Falls 89's donated $5 Canadian and has put, hello from Canada. Have you ever visited here?
Canada? No, I'd love to go to Canada, guys, because I desperately want to see. Well, I want to see the bears. I would love to go and see sea otters. So, if anybody wants to pay for me to go to Canada when it's safe to travel again, I do hasten to get that in a bit quickly. I'd love to. I would love to go out there. I just never get any days off. Having said that, I wouldn't change it for anything. I mean, Laurie and Abby and everybody will tell you here that I whinge and moan every day of my life. But if anybody says, would you want to do anything else? The answer would be, nope. Very happy doing what I do. Thanks, guys. Not going to change it for anybody.
A couple more bids, actually, have come in for some of the pictures. 55 for the fox. So the fox has gone up to 60 at the moment. So Hazel B is £60 for the fox pick. Is the current.
If you want to be Hazel B, guys, get your bids in now because we're running out of time.
Angel Help has increased their bid to 75.
Whoa!
Which is very, very kind. Thank you very much. And that's whichever it works out to be. Not sure which one of those you prefer. If you want to post in the comments which one of those you prefer. And we'll sort of assign it to that one.
I think for 75 quid, Laurie, you not only sign it, but you put a little kiss at the end. I think that's quite important.
Yeah, so after the end of this stream, all three of us, so Simon, Abby, and myself, we will sign the back of the prints as well, so they'll all be sent out, and hopefully you will enjoy them. And if not, you can accuse me of being terrible in the next live stream. Few comments. What's the most dangerous rescue we've ever done? We've answered that a few times actually. That's something that's come up in numerous live streams. It really depends. There's been a lot of rescues that are dangerous, a lot that are of any risk. Rescuing most animals, sort of badgers, deer, they're inherently risky. Things like the swan up a tree, that's risky for trying to fall out of it. There have been a few cases where you're in sort of not great situations. You once rescued a fox off a roof of a shopping centre that was all a glass roof. So many different ones, I think, on that one. Simon, what's your favourite species of water bird?
I was just looking at that question. Actually, I was glancing to screen left again to see all that. I don't really know. I mean, I love swans. They're beautiful. They're majestic. They're good parents. Yeah. Again, it's what's my favourite species of mammal. What's my favourite species of bird? I don't particularly have an absolute favourite. I just love doing the rescues. Whatever it is, if I can save it, I've done my bit, and I'm grateful for that. And that's what makes me do what I do every single day of my life. Favourite species, I don't know. It would probably be the swan, I guess. But I love green. I love so many, Laurie. It's difficult. It's not fair to pull me down on that one because, you know, if it needs helping, we'll help it. And if it's all right in the wild, it's beautiful.
We also need to mention a few birthday fundraisers for people who are donating to us for their birthday. So if you are watching this, happy birthday in advance. Happy birthday if it's today, or happy birthday if it has passed. So huge thank you to Rachel Culver, Megan Crabtree, Angela Marie Goddard, and Kirsty Triune, who are all raising money for us for their birthday. So huge thank you and happy birthday to you all.
Thank you. Happy birthday. If you want a personal kiss from Simon, just come and see me. You know, as I said, I'm an absolute tart. If you think I'm too old to do that, I'll make Laurie kiss you instead. That's fine. Thank you guys very much.
Moira has asked, given that animals have personalities, are there any that seem to just have it in for you? Alice,
Laurie, Abby, every single volunteer, probably after tonight my daughter, and most other animals, really.
That's true.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I don't think so. I mean, any animal, it's like we always say, animals have three instincts when you're going to catch them. The first instinct is to flee. It's the 3 F's, as we say, and they're very scared when I start talking about the 3 F's, but it's to flee is the first one. The second one is to freeze, and if all that goes wrong, they fight. And that's rightly so. If somebody came up, you know, something huge came up to me and tried to attack me, I'd do exactly in that order. You flee if you can, freeze if you can't, and then go, oh poo, I'm going to fight. And you fight, and rightly so. Good on them, guys, because they don't know we're there to help them. So we do what we can do, and we try to be careful while we do it. And do we get hurt sometimes a little bit? Yeah. Do we get hurt badly? I'm touching wood as I say this. So far, no. So yeah, we'll do what we can, guys. We will always be there for the wildlife. I'm sorry, as you say, somebody said earlier on that we're not there for them. We are. Trust us, we are there for them. And if you feel aggrieved, send me an email and I'll give you a ring. But yeah, we're there for the wildlife. Do I have any favourites? Absolutely not, really.
Sarah has asked me, actually, did I learn wildlife photography at WildlifeAid? So, no, that's the reason I'm here, in the position that I'm in currently, actually. So I started here as a volunteer. Lana, my partner, was volunteering here and dragged me along for the odd shift. I soon sort of started doing that a lot more regularly and was doing a lot of photo and video work, and Simon invited me into here just to try out on an internship, and unfortunately I'm now here, so I feel sorry for him for that one. But
no,
yeah,
it's rather like the sort of The little, not the Little Red Riding Hood. Come into my den, little girl. Come in,
Oh,
Laurie.
that's creepy.
Come
That's
in.
creepy.
We'll really help you, Laurie. Come in and see us. You'll be fine. And then you just put the manacles around his ankles, lock him in, and he can never escape again. Got him, guys. Got him.
How do you get close enough to photograph animals without disturbing them? So a combination of long lens, very, very long lens, and a lot of patiently waiting and make sure you're in the right direction of the wind and all bits like that. This isn't about, I don't think this is about wildlife photography. I'm going to bore people if I start talking about that.
I think you should do a lecture on it, Laurie. I think you should do an online lecture about how to photograph wildlife. I think that'd be quite interesting.
Would anyone
I
tune
wouldn't
into
watch
that?
it. I wouldn't watch it, no. Because, I mean, I taught you everything I know.
Oh, your blurry photos. Yeah. Oh, God.
Cool,
Right,
bouncing to the end, Laurie. We must wind this up. Or
we
should
are
get into
going
trouble.
to fairly soon. So Robert Dunkley has asked, what are your thoughts about leaving food out in your garden for wild animals?
Oh, off you go. I've done this a million times as well. Laurie's just fallen out my ear. It's possibly important at times if there's an animal that's injured or really weak or really suffering, just to give it that boost. But if you put it out all the time, it's like any animal. If you take a wild animal and you feed it for a year, it will actually start to forget how to hunt. It will become complacent. It will become too fat. It won't be eager to hunt. So we only feed when we really have to, when it's really important, like putting water out in the summer. But the rest of the time, you shouldn't feed them, guys, because it gets them too imprinted to humans. And although you might be nice and we might be nice, you will get an instance one day where somebody comes in, maybe moves in next door, where they fed the foxes for years, doesn't like foxes, and damages it big time. We've had several of those instances over the years where the most horrible things have happened, which I'm not going to go into now. But it really pays to keep a wild animal wild, enjoy it from a distance, love its antics from a distance, but don't imprint it or humanize it in any way, shape or form, because it doesn't know then which human to trust and which human not to trust. So better that they trust no one and live their own life successfully. Yeah,
I think so. We've just had 100 Norwegian kroner in from Crazy Ferret Lady, so huge thank you once again. And as part, have you ever rescued any ferrets or polecats? I run a rescue rehab/rehoming for ferrets since 2004. Got my first ferret in 2002. A few years ago I had 36 in my house. Love my carpet sharks. I love the description as carpet sharks. That's surprisingly accurate.
We have polecats this week, can't we, Laurie? What happened this week?
We've had a number this week. So polecats, for those of you who are not sort of familiar with them, are basically, they're ferret-like creatures that are actually native here in the UK. So a lot of them look pretty much like ferrets. There's a few subtle differences, but they are effectively a wild ferret. So we've had 4 juveniles in this week alone, and we really don't get polecats that often. It's a very unusual thing to see. So we've had 4 of them. They're now off with carers, but we'll see if we get more of those, because it seems to be becoming a trend.
It's been an odd year this year anyway. I mean, the orphan season started early. We got this sort of big heat or big warmth very early on, which I think sort of sparked everything off very quicker. Whether that will mean that the back end of the year is not as busy, we don't know. We haven't got there yet. But yeah, it's been a bit weird. And polecats, perhaps, I don't know why we've had more in than normal. I've certainly seen more weasels around than normal. So yeah, who knows, guys? Watch this space. We might be able to fill you up on that later on.
Yeah. So we are coming into the last section of this live stream, guys. So if you did want to bid for any of the prints that we're auctioning this evening, they are on screen now. So the current highest bids, if I look to my right and ask Abby.
60 for the fox.
So the fox is currently going for 60 UK pounds, or equivalent in your area.
The deer is £59.
The deer is currently going for £59.
The owl is £50.
And the tawny owl is currently going for £50. So if you would like to bid for any of those ones, please just leave the bid in the comments, or we shall go back on, and whoever is the highest bidder, whoever it is at the end of this, if you drop us an email to media, MEDIA, at wildlifeaid.org.uk. We'll leave that email address in the comments. Just drop us an email with your details and we shall discuss how best to get things to you.
And Laurie, while you're on, I just think that you've obviously made Scottish Astronomer's Day. She read my book and fell asleep, but she's woken up and said, thanks for another relief from shielding boredom. This is my fortnightly social event. Scottish Astronomer, all I can say is you're as sad as Laurie and I are. But never mind, we will club together. And we
what
will
he
go
really
forward.
means is thank you very much for the very kind £20 donation. So thank you very much once again for your support.
Did I not say that? I'm sure I said that, Laurie. I said it in my head. Let us know what you think of the books, Young Scottish Astronomer, when you get the second. It'll be interesting to know. Obviously, I've got 2 books out. One is my autobiography. Don't show it to anybody young because of the swear words in it. There's not many. And the other one is the Owl book, which actually is my favourite book. That's, if you want to get to me, read the Owl books. That's going right down into my psyche. So what was it called? Was it Owl's Dream, or was it the Owl with
the Owl with the Golden Heart?
I called it 2 things when I was writing it. Yeah, I called it Owl's Dream, and then we changed it to the Owl with the Golden Heart. I think it's a good read, and I wrote it. So there we are. And it's written by the brain of a 7-year-old for anybody of any age. So if you want to read that one, I know we've had so many comments about it. People love it. Laughter and tears and crying for the emotional bits. But it's a good book. Read it. Scottish Astronomer, tell us what you think about it later. Laurie, we've got to sign off or we're going to get into trouble. You know you get into trouble if you run on too long.
Yes, yeah, we are going to sign off. We're just waiting for the last couple of things to go in. We still need to decide who's going to win the Owl print. Only a couple of minutes left to go. We're just having a last check through the comments. If any questions sort of really stood out,
we're 16 minutes over time, Laurie.
Yeah, but we were doing an hour and a half before, weren't we?
That's not the point, is it, Mr. Brayley?
Have any comments stood out to you on this one?
To me, I haven't had time to read them. I honestly haven't. I've been sort of chatting and gassing and trying and making a fool of myself for the whole time.
Abby, if anyone's particularly stood out on your end? We're just having a flick through. So, let's have a look at some of these. Morris says, Owl with the Golden Heart is amazing. So
yeah, that was nice.
Clearly
Thank
fans
you for
of
that.
your book. Are the books available outside the UK? I believe
yes.
Yes.
Yes. We'll ship anywhere in the world and we'll even bring it personally if you pay enough for it.
Angela Help is actually just up to bid to £75, which is
Good
massive.
girl.
Thank you very,
Excellent.
very, very much.
Laurie's not worth it.
very
I just
kind.
like to say now, while Laurie's not listening, I like to say that although I say on these chats that Laurie's a great guy and he's very helpful and he's a great photographer, I only say it to boost his ego. But now you've really done it. I'm not going to get any peace from him for weeks and weeks and weeks. So let's keep the bids low, guys, because we don't want to get too swollen ahead. Yet alone his haircut, which we won't go into tonight.
Another bid. So we're now on £80 for the Owl print. So it's a 75, an 80 and a 60 are currently the highest bidders on the print. Massive thank you to that one. And we have found a comment. So this comment, the comment is, you guys do such an amazing job, full of admiration for you. The wildlife can sleep safe knowing you guys are on their side. Thank you on behalf of humanity and most importantly the wildlife. That's very, 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 very kind. So that is Chris I Am.
Laurie, I typed that one, mate. I typed that. Just was trying to build us up a bit. So who wrote that comment? Who is that from?
Chris I Am. So
it's like Will I Am. Will I Am and Chris I Am. There we are. Good enough for me.
If you are still on the chat, please drop us an email. So to media@wildlifeaid.org.uk. We'll put that email address in the comments. So I think we should wrap it up now.
Oh, at last, we have
officially closed the bidding. So the winning bid, so Hazel B has won the Fox print. So thank you very much. Janet has won the Owl print, and Angel Help has won. Which one is it? The deer. The deer print. So please drop us your details to our email address, and we'll get back to you and try and work out how to get things for you. And Chris, I Am. Please drop please drop us an email and we'll get that one sent out to you. And huge thank you for such a lovely comment.
If you like any particular comments on those pictures when we sign them, if you like, you know, thanks or somebody or love or whatever, just tell us what you want us to write, because we are, even Laurie's becoming like me, we will write anything for the right amount of money. So if you want a particular word on there, a particular comment, tell us what you want us to write and we will sign them. Either front or back, you decide. So it's all yours, guys. You have the control.
And if anyone does want to see any more prints or buy any more, Abby's just posted my website link in the comments. Head on over there, and if you just drop me a message via the contact form on there, we can do a similar thing, and all the money will go back into helping animals here at Wildlife Aid. So huge thank you for that one.
So you mean this whole vlog has been self-promotion for Laurie Brayley? You paid Abby to slip in your website.
I haven't spoken that much in this one.
You've spoken a lot. I think you've spoken a lot, to be honest. And Abby's now obviously on commission, because you're now going to make about £1 million from selling your prints. Guys, buy them. Go onto his website. Look at his pictures. They are very good. I'm not ever going to give him another compliment for as long as I live.
And on that note, it might be time to end. So huge thank you to every single one of you that has joined, donated, bidded, everything on there. That is absolutely incredible. We can only do what we do thanks to your support. So huge thank you for every single one of you.
And I have to say one thing to the lady who cannot be mentioned, who gives us an awful lot of money. She's one of our supporters. I hope you managed to stay awake through the live stream. And there's the Simon smile.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you later. Do you want the final word?
No, you've had it.